basically 6 days in LA. I mean, that's not good for anyone's liver, you know? So I think there's a real
Not
role of
good for
that in that
anyone's
whole thing.
liver. I love it.
Well, especially when Tatum's turned 21 on the trip too. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, that I think that has something to do with all this. Um, maybe he was, maybe it was the shoulder, and that's why he played so relatively poorly against the Lakers. But um, he looked like he was having a good time. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well, and Jaylen Brown gets the start in his absence, right? And
Mm.
continues to look extremely aggressive, um, especially going and attacking the rim. I know I told you this before we got started recording, but I'm really gonna have a hard time trading him away if he continues to play like this and into the postseason. I mean, this kind of attacking and going at the rim, and now we talked about this several weeks ago. Just not fumbling the ball on the way, just a much more controlled handle. Like this is the real breakthrough for him. I think. I think this is it. It would just be unfortunate to watch him just completely take off next year with another team.
Oh, it would be, and there was a report this week that, and there seems to be a new report every day right now, but the report was there's no way the Celtics could do a deal with the Pelicans without Smart and Tatum being in the deal. Well, then Justin, you get you get your wish, I guess. I don't think that's the way it's going to go
I
down, but
can't lose Tatum either, though.
well, right. I mean, it's right. It'll take something, but yeah, I mean, it's a situation where I think most Celtics fans would rather see Brown be the focal point of the deal. I think the vast majority of Celtics fans would feel that way. I'm among them, but as you said, of late, what he's doing on both ends of the court, showing real aggression, showing real purpose out there, it
He's
makes it
not getting
difficult.
murdered by the refs anymore either. I don't know what the difference is, but remember he was just a magnet for the fouls, even though he had all this. And maybe it's just the little things, and he figured out how to pull them back. I mean, I know he still gets some calls there, but everybody deals with that. It's just it seemed like he was constantly picking those up. It was actually going to limit his minutes if he was a starter, and I think that's definitely backed off. I think that's clearing up for him, which is also important. And you're right. It's got to be you really want to keep Tatum. And if you have to choose between the two, but they just have such a soft spot for them staying together. Um, really
Mm.
bad.
Well, and that's the before you go down the road of was Kyrie staying or going and all that, that you're right. I mean and that's kind of what I think drove a lot of your frustration last week. And that, look, we want there's something special about rooting for a team that is made up of your homegrown guys. You see them start from rookies, put it on the cap the first time. There's a sentimental piece to it, but there's also real investment that we all have in those players. Um, but as we saw with I had a real investment with Al Jefferson. I loved Al Jefferson. I thought he was really a great player. I thought had a real opportunity to grow as a player. I think injuries sapped him of that potential. But when Kevin Garnett came to town, I kind of got on board pretty fast. So it's the opportunity to get Kevin Garnett, it takes a cost. That's a high cost, and the cost to get Anthony Davis would be a high cost. Never mind whatever Kevin Durant situation crops up or doesn't. So there's so many different pieces about this. You don't want to see them lose those guys, but unfortunately, it's just the high cost of getting a top 5 player in the NBA it's going to necessitate us losing, key pieces. And, you just hate to see um, too much go out the door. And I think Smart emotionally would be the hardest probably to take. I don't want to lose Tatum because I love the player and I think he can be a great guy, a great player for this team and in the NBA moving forward. But Smart would really be much more of, I think, of a gut punch out of all the possible players
Especially
to go
because
out the
he's
door.
finally hitting 3-pointers too, right? Like the
Sure,
criticism
sure.
on that man the entire time that made him expendable was that one thing. It was like if he could get that 3-point shot to fall, maybe even just get above 30%,
Mm.
we'd all be like a lot happier with this player, just in general. And he's finally there, but he's an emotional leader too. And, that speaks volumes to what you were just saying there.